The demand for housing in Harare remains high, but at the same time, increase in houses also means demand for more energy, water and supporting infrastructure. Gamuchira Isapazua compiled the following report.
Can Harare afford more houses? And what impact will it have on energy, water and infrastructure demand? Those are the questions that demand answers. The city today met Zimbabwe National Water Authority, Power Authority and residents to get a broad picture. The idea being raised is that of cluster houses to meet increasing demand for shelter. Currently, the city is working on upgrading the necessary supporting infrastructure.
We are going to have to expand the scope of our infrastructure. Like I was pointing out, our water bodies have got the water. But we are not extracting it at the rate that we ought to extract it, and we have to come up with a solution for that. We have to come up with private sector involvement in how we do our sewer pipes, how we do the roads. We are happy with the contribution that the government is doing to the roads, and if we take that model to other sectors, we'll be able to build the city.
The meeting comes just weeks after the council submitted a master plan to the local government ministry. When adopted, the plan guides expansion and new developments, including housing. At the meeting, ZINWA said it is working towards making sure there is adequate water for the current households and the ones that are to be added.
Our reservoir capacity dotted around town, they have a storage capacity close to 830 megaliters per day. Meaning that we have more than 830 million liters of water that can be stored within our reservoirs. And each of those reservoirs, upon construction, were meant to store water for 2.5 days. The water is adequate to provide the residents for 2.5 days.
This comes at a time when residents in the city have not been having consistent running water. This has forced government and other NGOs to help drill boreholes for the communities. The energy situation has also not been convincing. The ZETDC spoke about challenges being faced.
As ZETDC, our proposal for clusters, the first is to address the issue of aging infrastructure. If a cluster is developed without upgrading the backbone infrastructure, it will mean there will be increased faults in the area because of overloading. So each cluster is to come with an upgrade of the backbone infrastructure, and that backbone infrastructure upgrade has to be met by the cluster developer, because this is a business. If that is addressed, it will mean that as ZETDC, we have to worry about power provision, not responding to faults as a result of overloading.
He added that it will be crucial for generation to increase in line with cluster house policy.
A permanent solution is upgrade of infrastructure, and upgrade of infrastructure needs money. So as the policy is being developed, it should include the issue of upgrade of backbone infrastructure for these new developments.
Residents are concerned about how the city is going to implement this without fixing existing issues.
I wouldn't object per se as cluster house. It's a good idea, but the problem, all my recommendations would be that they should come with corresponding roads, electricity, water supply. Where is it coming from? That is the huge problem that has to be addressed before these cluster houses are put up. I think that is of major concern for everyone, because if we identify a lot of people without providing these basic things like water, roads, sanitation and sewer, it has more problems with the residents.
It's an important period for the city of Harare, especially at a time when the government recently showed anything is possible in terms of infrastructure development.
Well, what do residents make of the latest developments in the housing sector? Zetian Brahms spoke to Precious Shumba, the director at the Harare Residents Trust, after the policy formulation meeting, and said that the arrangement will most likely strain the current service infrastructure that is experiencing an overload.
The issue of cluster houses will address the issue of accommodation to a lesser extent, I would say. The major challenge that will likely arise from that is overburdening of existing sewer and water infrastructure. So the issues that we need to be talking about is about how we create our new suburbs and how we model our new settlements to ensure that there is balance between the population growth and the needs of a community in terms of its service institutions, service infrastructure.
Shumba also expressed the importance of finding a balance between the inclusivity of growing the population and the concerns of property owners in the low-density areas.
While there is this emphasis for cluster houses, it's part of the densification agenda where we are saying let's have more people in a small land size. But ultimately, we are likely going to have new headaches like new schools. We want health facilities. We want other infrastructure. But most importantly, it would be most unfortunate to those with the bigger stands to be compelled as part of the densification agenda to subdivide. Subdivision brings with it new lifestyles within a community, and the value of properties tends to decline.
Konapo, ipapo pa ZTN Prime, DSTV channel 294, the place to be.